Hey guys, how you doing? This is EJ Uno, and I am back again doing a talk about unlocked phones and how they are being blacklisted from different phone carriers. Maybe you have ran into this situation. I know I have recently ran into this situation, so I wanted to make a video about it just to let everybody be aware because I do talk about cell phones on my videos. I do talk about good deals, and I do talk about unlocked phones and phones that you can bring to another carrier and stuff like that, and so on and so on. So the main reason why I wanted to talk about it is because I ran into a situation where I did my last video that I did about a phone, and you guys saw it, was the Samsung S10 5G. Now, just saying 5G, saying that the phone is new. It's not. Samsung S10 5G came out maybe, a year, 2 years ago or something like that, when 5G was just coming about. I got it. The phone is great. The phone works great. It is amazing. The problem is when I try to hook it up with a different carrier. Now the phone is unlocked. I called Verizon. The phone is unlocked. The thing is that I'm running. The problem is that AT&T is blacklisting like Cricket Wireless. And why I say Cricket Wireless and AT&T, because Cricket Wireless and AT&T are basically the same. Cricket Wireless runs on the network of AT&T, and they mostly get their phones from AT&T because that's how the network is going to go about it to get network. So if Cricket Wireless is blacklisting phones, then AT&T is definitely going to be blacklisting phones. So the Samsung S10 is one of many phones that they are not taken, because every time I try to put the SIM card in, usually when you put a SIM card into an unlocked phone and give the IMEI, the phone works automatically. Unlike AT&T, you just put a SIM card in and it should automatically do it without having to put the IMEI in. So I ran into that problem. I thought it was the phone. I thought I was had some problems with the phone. That was not the situation. Like I said, I called Verizon. Verizon said the phone is unlocked. I called AT&T. They said they do not support that phone anymore. And I was running, so that was one scenario. So I just had to cancel service with AT&T because it just wasn't, they weren't doing it. So I liked the phone more than I was going to want the service from AT&T. So that was one situation. The next situation is I had Metro PCS, and same thing with Metro PCS. I had the Xiaomi Poco NFC, and I got the OnePlus. Now, one thing I want to talk about is the OnePlus before I get to what I'm about to get to. Is the OnePlus is a great phone. It's a good phone, but it needs a lot more updates to it. OnePlus was one of two phones that they brought to Metro PCS, and it needs a lot of updates. I don't know if you go into the same scenario as me, but I don't get 5G like that. First of all, I don't get it like all the time. Sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't, just like any other phone. Now, the phone magically, I'm gonna say magically because it just out of nowhere happens. It hangs up the phone on calls that I have. I can just have the phone right here, and the phone just hangs up, and I have to call the person back. The reception is terrible when you calling people. Like you don't even hear people as well as you should hear them on a 5G phone or a company like OnePlus. OnePlus, for people who don't know about OnePlus, OnePlus is a known phone company that has came from a long ways, and they should have, this is, like I said, this is a launch from OnePlus to Metro PCS, and it turned out to be a great deal when it came out. The phone was free. Now you can get on Metro PCS, and it's for $50 when you get new activation. Now the thing is that the phone needs updates. So unless you have another phone that you can play around with until you get those updates, I would recommend you do that, because the phone, like I said, it just periodically hangs up when you're on the phone. And I don't want to, like, when you like holding the phone like this, and it you'll find yourself people saying hello hello, because you'll magically just I keep on saying magically, you'll just like periodically put your hand on the mute button. So I think they need to fix that problem with not, so even though your cheeks on the screen, don't let it be so sensitive that it brings down your notifications, and then you store, or the light pops back on, and and you hit the mute button, you hit the end button, you hit the speaker button. Now that has happened with me on many phones, but this phone, OnePlus, it, like I said, periodically it just I find myself having to be like, oh man, I hit the speaker, oh man, I hit the mute button, and the phone would just hang up the phone on me and on people. So OnePlus, please give an update to that phone. Please give an update to that phone. Now, going to the next thing, like I was getting to. Now, I was having problems, like I told you, that big old scenario I had with OnePlus. So I had the Xiaomi Poco NFC. Go check out my other videos about the NFC. It is an amazing phone. It's a great phone. Now, on that phone alone, I don't know if it was my fault or the phone's fault, but notification sounds will no longer come on. After an update I had with Xiaomi, the sound of the notifications stopped coming on. Like, I heard them sometimes and then they go away. The phone just buzzes now. So I was very disappointed in that, because the phone was nice. The greatest feature that I liked in that phone is the camera, where you can see yourself and then see somebody else. That was one of the best things that I saw about that phone. But the whole point, what I'm trying to get to, is that when you can switch your phone to another phone and unlock phone. So what I did was I switched, because I was having problems with the OnePlus phone, and I switched to the Xiaomi Poco. Now, Metro PCS is doing a little blacklisting of their own, because they don't no more support Xiaomi phones. Now, in all my videos that I have ever had from when I started showing Xiaomi phones, I have always had all my phones, Xiaomi phones, on Metro PCS. It's not one Xiaomi phone that I did not have on Metro PCS. Now Metro PCS is not letting nobody, they're not supporting Xiaomi phones. Now they told me they don't support Xiaomi Poco NFC, but they just said they don't support Xiaomi phones anymore. So now, at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you the key thing of what I think is going on with these phone companies. So they don't do that no more. So I just like, man, so gosh, first it's Cricket Wireless, now it's AT&T, now it's Metro PCS. So now, one thing I want to say is, if you have an unlocked phone, you can tell them to push it anyway. And push it means tell them just to add it to your line anyway. You might get service, you might not. I luckily got service on Metro PCS with the Poco NFC. And even though they told me it would not work, it still worked. I still got signals. I still got, I want to say, calls and text messages. The one thing that was not able to do was it did not support you can data while you're on the phone. So voice and data, which means is you're talking on the phone, and if you and then let's say you want to do something and you have somebody on the phone, you can operate data, which is surf the web and look up things on the web, and you can do that while you're on the phone. Since they don't support it, they don't support the data and voice on there. So I was finding myself mad about that. Now, I was like, so then I end up getting, like I said, going back to the Samsung S10. It did not work on AT&T, so I said, you know what, let me try it on Metro PCS before I bring it back to its own original carrier. Now, now Metro PCS does not support Samsung S10. I don't know if that's just the S10, or I don't know if that's just they don't support a lot of unlocked phones. Now, all that what I just said, guys, all that what I just said, take that all in. All in. Okay, so this is what I think is happening. I think that Cricket Wireless just wants their phones being with them, even though you can go ahead and get your phone unlocked. Everybody's blacklisting to basically saying that I don't want your phones on my service. I don't want your phones on my service, and I don't want your phones on my service, because that gives people the opportunity just to stay with our company just for 90 days and their phone gets unlocked, and all of a sudden we lose a customer. So I believe that what they're doing is they're blacklisting phones because they don't want to lose the customer they're currently on. That's just a theory of mine, and knowing about phones for so long, I just have that theory that they're limiting a lot of phones. So even though you have an unlocked phone, doesn't mean that you're absolutely going to be onto that other carrier. So when I never say this, but I would say before you get an unlocked phone, before you think about leaving your company that you're with to get an unlocked phone, really see if that phone actually works on that different provider, because they are really cracking down on bringing your phone to a different carrier, because I believe they don't want to lose you as a customer. And they all have different rules. Like, for instance, Metro PCS, it's just 90 days. Verizon, it's just 60 days and your phone's unlocked. That's just how it is. I would really check it out. But my Samsung phone is on Verizon, and I gotta say that even though it's from Verizon and I got it with Verizon, I got a good deal on it, and it's great. I hear better. The phone ain't hanging up. Knock on wood, knock on glass, knock on whatever I have right here. The phone's great. It's amazing. So I just wanted to put that out there for the unlocked phones, the blacklisting, and all that stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell button, and appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you.